Hello and welcome to this week's episode of Beyond the Broomstick, that podcast that opens up opportunities and possibilities that spirituality can bring to you in your everyday life. Welcome. If we haven't met before, my name is Matilda and I am a professional psychic medium here in Australia. In this week's episode, we're going to be talking about surface level spirituality and how it can disempower you rather than empower you. We'll jump into that in a little bit more depth very soon. But first of all, I want to touch on the wow. If you follow me on TikTok, you will know what I am talking about. I will often make predictions about events coming in, things that I see. And the last couple of weeks, it has been incredibly busy. I want to say it here, that I told you so. President Biden deciding not to run in the next election, the outages that have happened, the assassination attempt, all of those things that I had predicted happened in the last couple of weeks. So yeah, it's been a little bit busy, but today sees the start of season 2 here for Beyond the Broomstick. This podcast was really started for me to be able to talk about what spirituality can mean to people on an individual basis and how using it in your everyday life can enhance things, can help you, can empower you. And I hope that I'm doing that job, but this season is going to dive a little bit deeper into some of those topics. First of all, as always, I am going to thank my Patreon supporters. Now, this is going to have to be done in a couple of bite-sized pieces because things have sort of exploded on social media, shall we say. There are a lot of new Patreon supporters, and I want to thank you all. Without you guys, my podcast is not going to be possible. It takes time. It takes money to produce a podcast, and you guys support it by signing up to my Patreon. If you don't know about Patreon, pop along to my show notes. It does give you a few more deep dives, more information about things for you. There's extra podcasts, there's early release of events, etc., etc. And it is an important part of what I do because the pledges, the support that you guys give me allows me to do this, allows me to bring extra topics to you. It is our amazing community. So if you haven't joined yet, pop along and have a look. If you have joined, remember we have the chats. We have lots of topics to have a look at. There's newsletters, there's podcasts, there's videos, there's lots of information. So we're going to jump in and do the first round of Patreon thank yous. I give a shout out to all my new Patreon members every week. And of course, because I've had 2 weeks off, there's quite a few, but I have now over 4,000 members of Patreon. About 500 of those are paid members. It is amazing. And yeah, as I say, I can't thank you enough. So let's jump in and start our thank yous. As I say, it will be done in a couple of spurts. So Jen C, Sherry Simask, Sue Brennan, Katie Fortuna, Brooke Obst, Gigi, Julie Henson, Michelle, Yamuna Meleth, Alison Barber, who has pledged yearly, Shanessa Brown, Letha, Sandra Rodriguez, Michelle Vendredi, Erin, Becca Lynn, Leonora Pitts, who has pledged for a year, Bonnie C, Katie, Carol Twin Cities, Christine, who has also pledged for a year, Mimi, Darla, Christina Schatzer, and Pat, and I have to go through another page here. Caroline, H. Baird, Alicia, Gavin Keating, Deanna Depinuli, PJ Bell, Becky, Lauren, Gail, who was pledged for a year, Deborah Post, Debbie, Ariana Andrade, Michelle Laganga, Matthew Jardin, Larissa Stratton, who was pledged for a year, Emma High, Sharon, Megan, Jackie Oliver, Crystal, who was pledged for a year, Laurie, Gina B, Sandra, Simp Syrup, Jan Gallerardi, Rufus Dragon, who was pledged for a year, Lauren, Tony Dering, Michelle, Marla Brown Doig, Emily, who is pledged for a year, Shacourtney Roberts, Leslie B, Claire, Janelle, Marcy Garcia, Hope Raddle, Seuss, who is pledged for a year. It might be Sus, but you've pledged for a year, so thank you very much. Lisa Asman, Melissa Adams, Laura Ryan, Megan Gorman, Deborah, who is also pledged for a year, Pamela Hibbard, who has done a yearly pledge, Brandy, Megan Taylor, TJ, John Houston, Colleen Story, who has pledged for a year, and Margaret Murray. Now, that is the end of this round of thank yous. I will do the rest a little bit later in the show. So let's talk about superficial or surface level spirituality and how it can take away your power rather than empowering you. Now, everyone has their own choice and their own ability to take information in. I always say that the lessons that you are trying to teach are only as good as the ears that are ready to listen. When you have, we're talking about psychic here rather than the mediumship side of things, because mediumship readings are very separate. They're all about connecting you with your loved ones that have already transitioned to the afterlife. But when we're talking about the psychic ability, which is your guides, my guides, your higher self connecting with me and being able to deliver information that's going to help you get on the right pathway. There are many different gurus, teachers, I don't know what else you would call them really, who take to the internet, who want to give you information for the exchange of financial membership, agreement, whatever. And what really surprises me is the lack of depth that goes behind these things. So I'm going to give you an example of how I try and manage that within my own energy. Yeah, I work on social media sometimes. Now, for those of you that are new to my podcast, I had a thriving psychic mediumship business for the last 20 years. I've never had to hoik for clients. People find me through recommendations, etc. When I went to social media to educate and to teach people about what you should look for and what you deserve in a reading, that just got a bit busier. So I'm always booked out in advance, etc. But social media is that real dichotomy of people who have an expectation of information. But what they don't want to do is behave in a way that is spiritual. They don't want to be nice. They don't want to be kind. They want to be demanding. They want to be entitled. And I will always block people. All they've got to do is make a nasty comment, especially around the Princess of Wales scenario where I had so many people being absolutely evil. Some of the stuff that was said. And if you want to believe that, if you want to have those words come out of your mouth, you will get an instant block from me. You are not entitled to my energy as far as I'm concerned. I will try and educate, and I will make videos on what really should be expected. But if you don't want to follow the party line, just don't. Just don't. That's what I feel about that. I went through a period many, many years ago where a group of people got my name, and the expectation from this group of people was they had all been in similar situations where partners had left them or they'd broken up with people, and they'd been hopping from advisor to advisor, and most of the advisors had said, oh, this person is your twin flame. They are so attached to you. Hold on to that energy. They're going to come back to you. I don't want you to worry. So they sat in expectation of somebody returning to them. And when they found me, unfortunately for them, when I worked with their guides and I linked in on a spiritual level, it was about teaching them to really stand in their power and make a decision as to whether this person was what they really needed. I wasn't giving them any answers because that's not how I work. I work very closely with your guides to empower you. They will give you the information that will teach you something that you need to learn. Often they will go back in your life and pull out something that has maybe set you on the path that you're on and recognize those blocks for you to be able to change your path in the direction to get what you need. Not necessarily what you want at the time, but what you need. Surface level spirituality is about giving you the answers that aren't necessarily for your best interest. And this group of people were only ever interested in when their particular person of interest was going to get in touch, when they could expect contact. It wasn't about a deep dive as to whether they were accepting less than they deserve, whether they had got into a pattern of self-destruction or self-sabotage. And when I would try and explain that from what spirit were giving me or give them help, I just got canned over so many different forums about, she's not psychic, she's just giving standard information, blah, 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 blah. And these people were probably still in the same situation 2, 3, 4 years down the track. But when I speak to people that are floundering, when they are struggling with direction, when they have limped through bad relationship, whether that be emotional, physical, romantic, or family relationships, being able to recognize what their pattern is from what their guides are telling me has been so enlightening for them. People that really want to learn and to really think about how they react to other people is just so amazing to watch. Just people coming to me and wanting to hear what their guides have to say rather than that surface level spirituality. There is a lot of surface level spirituality on social media. There's a lot of people touting the new age stuff, being gurus, having membership as a guru, and promising that they are going to become enlightened without teaching them how to enlighten themselves. And what really scares me about surface level spirituality is the fact that so many people are sitting in disempowerment and going along with this cult-like facade. They are not learning and they are not having the opportunity to grow on a spiritual level. Now, growth is an amazing thing. It's painful. It is difficult. We will all fight against it. But once we actually give in and allow that growth and that belief that your guides have your best interest for you, that's when the big enlightenment happens. I have seen so many surface level spiritual people, especially those that sit on maybe live and they're just handing out yes, no answers or making people feel better in a Band-Aid effect. I don't like the Band-Aid effect at all. We can all spend our life putting a Band-Aid on something to make ourselves feel good for a short period of time. Now, those Band-Aids can be psychic answers. They can be pretending we have a belief in something. They can be drugs. They can be alcohol. All of those things are a Band-Aid effect. When we take the time to feel ourselves, to do a deep dive into our own sense of self, guided by our higher self or our guides, we're then able to empower ourselves to make decisions that maybe we weren't going to make a year ago, 2 years ago, 3 years ago. And that goes down, that is in every area of our lives. And what I try and teach on my social media is very clear. I expect the same decorum, the same level of respect that I show to you, for you to show to all the people in the messages. If you come into my messages and prove to me that you are not thinking about the other person that you are responding to, or thinking about the person that you are commenting about, and I point out the Princess of Wales again, that's when a lot of people got banned. And I still get messages from people saying, hold on, I've been banned, I want access to your content. Well, you don't get access to me until you prove to me that you can be respectful. It's as simple as that. And everyone has that choice. Surface level spirituality is people coming into my comments expecting those predictions, expecting the answers without wanting to do the work. And that is, again, when somebody has a reading with me and they book, say, a psychic reading, and I get somebody on the other end of the phone that only wants the predictions. They want to know when they're getting married. They want to know who they're getting married to. They want to know everything is going to be okay. And I totally understand that. We all want to know that everything is going to be okay. But do you want to learn how it's going to be okay? Do you want to learn how you have the power to make things okay? So many people are handing their power over to other people to make themselves feel better. And you have the power to do that yourselves. You have so much power. Don't let anyone take that away from you. It's why I teach what I teach. It's why I work with the law of attraction, because that is an empowering tool that is going to help you get to where you want to go. It's why when you have a reading with me and your guides say, you know what, you are on the right path, but you have to have more faith in yourself. It may sound really basic to a lot of people, but just getting predictions in a reading is not going to teach you anything. I do and have offered in the past those 10 events, which are just predictions, but they don't teach you anything. They don't give you that deep dive into what is going to help you achieve all of those goals, and talk about your self-limiting beliefs, and talk about what is going to put you on that pathway to feeling enlightened. Surface level spirituality is just going to tell you that you have to do or have to believe in something to feel enlightened. I have watched it in horror as A lot of the New Age psychics on social media, and if anyone's followed me for a while, you'll know that I'm not a fan of the New Age, but they really do disempower people because they think they're teaching them to think for themselves, and they call people sheep, and they say this, this thing that happened in a certain way, or the conspiracy theories that go along with the New Age theories is so disheartening, because it's actually telling people that they have to believe in a certain thing, but telling them they're only awakened if they believe in that. How is that empowering people? So let's think about it from a personal level, and think about all the times that you have believed what somebody is telling you, and realize that what they've told you and how they've taught it has disempowered you rather than empowered you. Spirituality is there to empower. It's not there to take away anything. I'm not here to tell people how they should think. I'm here to enlighten them to think for themselves. I just expect people to go a little bit deeper than that surface level. And I can spot them a mile off. Surface level spirituality is about people demanding answers. And I see it all the time in my comment section. And as I say, I will choose who my people are. It's my page. It's my choice. If you want to be abusive to me, or rude about somebody that doesn't deserve it, especially when somebody is ill, I find it incredibly rude and so not spiritual. So as I say, you have your access to me removed if that's the way you want to behave. So think about what empowers you the most, or how you can get that empowerment, and how you can put that into play in your everyday life, because that is really important, and that's what it's all about. So on that note, we're going to move on to our next round of thank yous and shout outs for the new members of our Patreon page. So Shay O'Neill, Dominique, Amanda, Elle Carter, Kelly Nicholson, Stacey Whitney, Sandy M. I need to give Elle Carter a shout out because she has actually given a yearly subscription. Sib, who has also done a yearly subscription, Dawn Jones, who has subscribed for a year, Lisa Dillinger, who has subscribed for a year, Jenny Nix, who has subscribed for a year, Amy Ville, Denise Ritchie, Angie V, Mary Scheller, Shaw, Stacey K, Jaeger Tomlin, Amelia Hayner, Mariana Aguayo, Jamie, Lisa Riley, Strawberry Humart, Ellen Bullock, Lisa, Carrie S, Tabitha Hush, Robert Succo, Melanie Cooley, Chloe, Melissa Litchfield, Chris Villa, Kelly McFarlane. Chris Villa also subscribed for a year. Stephanie M, Kathy M, Rosadina, Robin, Peggy Bell, who subscribed for a year, Jessie Peterson, Catherine Begley, Carrie Wade, Muggle Ron. I love that. Sensei, who has subscribed for a year, Brenda Dobson, who has subscribed for a year, Cat Mama L, Bobby, Kristen Palmerson, Camilla and Erica. We have more to go. I'm so sorry. Well, I'm not, but thank you. Donna Estrada, Scary A Paranormal Podcast, Katina, Kelly Hansen, Lani, Carol Kopf, who has subscribed for a year, Donna, Megan, Veronica, Jenny, Julie Tarshis, Elise, who has subscribed for a year, Monica Juras, Deborah, Salmon, Flor Felizor, Bethany74, Veronica, who subscribed for a year, Mary Cashman, Lindsay Ardre, Jennifer Eva, Fiona Evans, Sarah Prediger, Lynn Donahue, Lindsay Villa, Debbie Lynn F, who subscribed for a year, Chase Tucker, Claudia, Mary, Ms. Adventures, Cynthia Lund, April McCool, Kimberly Cantrella, Sweet 75CA, Dip, Brooke Belcher, Piper Riley, Blamps, Piper Riley again. Do you need to check that out, Piper? Laura, Anthony Harris, Jay, Diana CW, Courtney N, Sunshine, Jarrett Poor, Kansas Girl, Emily Devine, Jessica Ribigaro, Kim Fields, Chris Hernandez, and Taylor 87. Thank you so much for subscribing. You make this podcast possible. I really cannot thank you all enough for your continual support of me. Over the next couple of weeks, do check out the Metaphysical Mavens. I will be loading up lessons in intuitive development and different aspects of learning how to lean into your spirituality, including ego, etc., which has been much requested. So, how about this latest week? As many of you that follow me on social media or have found my podcast through social media, you have seen that quite a lot of my events and predictions that I have made have happened. One of them being the attempted assassination attack on ex-President Donald Trump. And that sort of came in over a couple of different events that I was shown, and I was trying to make sense of it. But I knew that he would have an assassination attempt. Some of these things that I see are very difficult to take to social media, and I'm not going to lie about that. I'll talk a little bit about that towards the end of this podcast, because being psychic and being given information from my guides doesn't mean to say that I'm going to bring everything to social media. It's not a comfortable place to do that, because there's a lot of people that will get hurt. There's some people that don't want to see it. And I'm going to start making those videos available, especially to my $25 and up tier. I've been very neglectful of that tier with the videos, purely because of time, etc. But that's going to pick up now. But I do want to talk about the decision, also one of the other predictions that came in, the decision from Donald Biden and him not running for president to take another term. And what I was shown from my guides is that he is incredibly ill and he's tried to hold on as long as he can. I do believe he wanted to let the RNC happen before he withdrew his campaign, so to speak. But the fact that people are pulling together to get Kamala Harris in and to fund her campaign is just such a beautiful thing. And what I do want to say about what I see coming up, and this is my take on the RNC. Not the RNC, the DNC. I'm sorry. It's been a long couple of days, I'm going to say. It's been a long couple of days. The DNC is going to take place in August. I'm not entirely sure of the dates. And as you know, I just go in and ask Spirit for some predictions around that time. So let's talk about Chicago as a whole. I am very concerned about violence around Chicago. I know that Chicago can be a difficult city, but I'm talking about violence around the convention. I also am being shown that there may be either a domestic terrorist attack or a terrorist attack at the DNC. I'm sure they are all over it, given Kamala Harris's nomination and the fact that Biden has endorsed her. I feel like there will be heated arguments and issues around her VP pick. Now, yesterday, during a conversation with Laurie Rivers, this was offline, I'd woken up to a lot of messages, as you can imagine, and I phoned Laurie to wish her happy birthday, and she said, who do you think for VP that Kamala Harris is going to pick for VP? I have no idea. If you don't know, I'm not American, and I don't follow American politics or listen to the news. I get all my news from people giving it to me, or if my followers remind me of predictions. And I don't know who is in the running. And I said, I was yelled at, not by Laurie. My guides yelled Shapiro at me. And Laurie said, oh, that's a commentator. I don't think that they're going up for VP. And I said, okay. And then she bandied some other names around, and I said, are any of those from Pennsylvania? Because I've been given Pennsylvania. Okay. Is it Pittsburgh or Pennsylvania? Anyway, whatever I came up with and was given, and she said no. And then later in the day, I got sent by her the list of VP nominees, and one of them is Josh Shapiro. I don't think he's a popular pick with the public, but I think he's a safe pick for Kamala Harris for various reasons. So don't be surprised if that name does come up. I do not want to hear it. I do not want to hear your reasons for not liking him. I am just the messenger and do not deserve to be yelled at or shot. What I want to say about Kamala Harris is that she is probably the most humanitarian of any president or presidential candidate that you will ever get. For those of you that don't like her, that is totally your choice, your pick, but she is going to shake things up incredibly. She is going to get shit done, as they say. She is going to get shit done. She is not going to put up with what people are doing. She is going to change an awful lot of things, and she will go in heavy with the negotiations around the Gaza Strip. If you want a solution to that, she is the person that's going to bring it to you. Whatever you think about her, whatever story you have been told, she is the one to make a difference. I don't think that the Angry Mangoes are very happy with her as a candidate, and there is going to be gossip and things come out about her parents that are not going to be nice, or stories told. So be ready for that. So my predictions for the DNC is there are going to be heated discussions, maybe a few fisticuffs or push shoves amongst people. There is going to be some temper tantrums from some men, and there may be an attempted terrorist attack or attempt of violence that hopefully is foiled. But surrounding the convention itself, if you're in Chicago, stay away. Stay away is my advice to you. Other stuff coming up in the next couple of weeks. A lot of information that is not already out there about the Republican Party, not necessarily Trump. It may be his 2IC. There is some real issues with Trump. His health is not good. Watch out for that. There is a lot of... I want to go to the United Kingdom, and I feel like there could be some issues with the new parliament. Stories coming out, things in the newspaper about the new parliament, if not the new prime minister. News coming out from Buckingham Palace that is not good news. I feel like there is a death in the royal family. I'm not talking about the main players at this stage, but there is a death within the royal family. Could be connected to the royal family. That is an announcement coming out. And I also feel like there is going to be a state of emergency declared, or whatever the closest thing I can say to that, in Ireland around and surrounding violence. I don't know whether they're going to issue a curfew or something. So hold on to that. All right, everyone. Thank you very much for joining me again today. I hope that this information about surface level spirituality helps. Just remember that it's not just around the predictions and around the connections. We have to live what we teach. And I try and do that with kindness. I'm not perfect. Nobody is perfect. But we have to live with as much kindness and consideration for other people as we can. And sometimes we have to get to know ourselves in order to do that. So all the information in my show notes. Do not forget that on August the 3rd, if you would like to see, if you would like to see Laurie Rivers and myself in action, we are hosting a deep dive on the coming months. That is August, September, October, November, December. We will be walking you through month by month the astrological things and the mediumship things. If you've not seen us work together, you will be amazed. We do predict an awful lot, and we do a lot of deep dive. So if you want to know, and that covers the US election as well, and the weather, which is not going to be too nice in October. So yeah, get along. The link is in my show notes for that. The link is there for Patreon. Don't forget to follow Sassy Seers on all good podcasts. That is Laurie and I having our gas bag and get together once a week. I think we're having a break at the moment. The next season is coming in the next week or so. And did you know that Laurie has been number one in the United States consistently for quite a while? I am sort of bouncing between 2, 3, and 4. Quite happy with that. We did good, guys. We did good. And the Sassy Seers is sitting currently at number 14. So currently, Laurie and I are holding the 1st, the 3rd, and the 14th spot in the United States spirituality podcasts. I have been amazed. Last week, my podcast had 1,500 downloads. I just blew my mind completely. So thank you all for your amazing support. I will talk to you soon. Enjoy the rest of your week. Lots of love.